Tuesday night. We're back from Radio Row. What a great week. Thank you, San Francisco. Thank you, Bay Area, San Jose, Santa Clara, all over. EA Sports headquarters. What a week. Let's start with this. I would talk football to start, but the game was awful. Congratulations, Seahawks. How dare you dumb people say that halftime show was un-American? You're not American if you think that. When a singer comes out and says, dare to dream. When I was a kid, I had dreams, and look where I am now. Gee, what's the American dream? To grow up and get what you're looking for, and to prosper. That's the American dream. Love. During his set, he had a couple get married. I guess that's not American because, we have like one of the highest divorce rates in the world. What kind of idiot would say that's un-American? Oh, and then he said, God bless America. That's definitely un-American. Because the dude spoke Spanish? I don't speak Spanish. Listen to the beat. It's music. Do you like Kenny G? Could you understand the words in any of Kenny G's songs? Get the F out of here, un-American. You're un-American. That's not what this country's built on. We have an Olympian that was asked a question and said he's not proud of everything in this country. Without getting political, I am not proud about a bunch of stuff in this country. There are homeless people out there. There are hungry families. That's not political. Don't tell me right, left. I don't care. You're happy about that? Get the F out of here. Yes. And I'm not going to curse because I have class. I was raised with class. My parents, great people. But guess what? You're un-American with your thoughts. James, John, and Jay, all of you come in here because I need to take a second. I need to see some friendly faces because I am so annoyed. Someone actually responded to me that was an un-American halftime show. Let's start with that before we go. I want to hear all your thoughts on that. John, start with you.
Yeah, first of all, he's from Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is just as American as California, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, you name a state, Puerto Rico's just as American as any of those states. So, I don't know why people, they have this notion that he's Puerto Rican, he speaks Spanish, he's not American. No, Puerto Rico's literally part of America, and it's been that way for a very long time. So, I really don't understand that. And, English isn't even our, primary language. So, I don't know what people are going on about, well, he doesn't speak English. Well, that's not even our primary language. That wasn't our language when America was founded. So, the notion, all these notions that, well, you don't speak English from Puerto Rico, to me, that's just crazy. If you had the chance, James and I were in the room with him whenever he spoke to us at the press conference when we had the opportunity to listen to him speak. And he's just so humble and gracious. And he said, I don't care if anybody speaks Spanish or not, or if you learn Spanish or not. I just want everybody to dance and have a good time and enjoy themselves. How can you hate on that? There was so much positivity out of this compared to the other halftime show, which just felt to me like there was a lot of vibes with underage people, a lot of vibes that they were kind of trending towards talking about them, a lot of, you know what I mean?
Don't even get me started on that one.
But I'm just saying, I didn't get any of those vibes out of this.
Did you know, John, did you know heaven is locked to us? Heaven is locked to us, John. We are not allowed to get in because we didn't watch that halftime show. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that because I am heated.
But that was cool. Jessica Alba was in it. Jessica Alba, we haven't heard from her in forever. Ronald Acuna Jr. was in it. Ricky Martin. We all love that Ricky Martin came back. He looks like he's 35 years old, and I haven't heard from that guy in forever. I just, and then the final message is the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Well,
un-American, John. Un-American. We're a war-mongering country. It's un-American. I have it on my Facebook page.
And I know these two want to talk, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I listen to Bad Bunny or I'm a fan of his or
Never
anything
heard of him
like
before
that.
he was announced.
Never listened to his songs before that. But
Completely honest.
I just thought that the message was great and it was all positivity and everybody seemed like they were having a great time. And I just don't understand how you can hate that unless you went into it already predetermined. It was already predetermined in your mind that you were going to hate that no matter what came out of it. You were going to be negative about it. And I guess that's a you thing, not a him thing. So you guys can go.
Let's go to James next because let's go to our guest tonight. James? You're muted.
You're
James.
muted.
James, we're missing all the good stuff, James.
Well, I know the reason for the predetermined hate. I'm not going to say it on the air, but we know what it is. And we know why there was a completely different halftime show that was on another channel that was called the quote-unquote American halftime show, which was with Kid Rock and all these people. So if anything, that's more un-American because you're creating divisiveness when it's supposed to be United States uniting people together, which is what Bad Bunny did with his performance. So it was an amazing performance, very exciting, and did a great job with the halftime show. A lot of the halftime shows of the last few years, even though there's been some big names, it really hasn't been that exciting, I would say. But this was a very exciting performance. And as a musician, it's not just about the lyrics. It's not just about the song. It's not just about any of the physical stuff. It's about sending a message with what you do, with your music, with your art is always supposed to have a message behind it. And there was a message of love and excitement and passion. And it was just great to watch. So, that's my thoughts on the halftime show. Great experience to see Bad Bunny in person at the press conference. And, he's a really good guy. So won some Grammys this year, and I hope he has a lot of continued success.
And Jay, I'm going to go to you in just a second. I got to bring up one more comment I got from one of my responses to the post Tasha was talking about. So somebody said to translate the words to the song, and I would be appalled. So no, I would never be appalled because A, it's music, and it's the artist's creation. B, I don't speak Spanish, so I would never hear it in the way it was written. But C, had that been exactly what was sung on the air, on a network, on Sunday at, I guess it was around 8 o'clock Eastern, we have a thing called the FCC. Howard Stern and the FCC were like best friends. They used to find Howard like weekly. So had he used those words that you want me to translate, I guarantee you the FCC would have totally come down on NBC and they'd be paying millions upon millions of dollars. So use your brain because the FCC is not inept. A lot of our government is inept, but the FCC is not. Unless you think the FCC is inept, and then you're saying that the government is inept. You choose. Whichever way you want to go with it, you're going to lose. And then to top it off, for all you people that hated the halftime performance so much and you weren't going to watch, you all watched. So you're all frauds. You're all suspect, as our new word goes. You were all suspects. Yes, every single one of you that didn't like this halftime show, for some preconceived notion, you were suspects. Jay, what was your opinion? You muted, Jay.
He's muted like CJ Stroud was against the Patriots.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But, okay. This is probably going to be the most hostile you will ever see me on camera. So this is dedicated to you smooth brains out there that was saying, oh, Puerto Rico is not America. It's not the United States. Here's a little history lesson for you. And a quick Google search would have told you this. The Jones-Shafroth Act, or the Jones Act, was signed on March 2nd, 1917 by President Woodrow Wilson, formally establishing Puerto Rico as an organized but unincorporated United States territory and granted statutory U.S. citizenship to its residents. It replaced the 1900 Forsaker Act, which had previously set up a civilian government. It grants U.S. citizenship to Puerto Ricans, allowing them to serve in the United States military. It created a Bill of Rights and separated the government into three branches. It declared English as official language of the territory. They also were eligible for the draft. But overall, it granted them citizenship and it made them an official United States territory. So, to you demographic out there that's saying, oh, well, they're not American, anything like that. Listen, take this as an open challenge, okay? I invite any one of you onto the Sideline Sports as an open challenge, and I will happily eviscerate you on camera. Eviscerate you on camera. I will embarrass you. You will want to crawl to another country to where you will never be seen again. You don't want none of this. But if you're brave enough, bring your asses.
Jay, I love it, Jay. And seriously, I just don't get it. You know, the hate's got to stop. I mean, I can't understand. You know, you have a guy like Jake Paul who moved to Puerto Rico to have tax advantages, to come out and say that, you know, he's switching the channel because this is un-American and Bad Bunny's not American and whatever the hell he said because I responded to it. Yet the dude moved to Puerto Rico to get tax advantages. And then finally the next day it clicked in his head, oh, gee, I didn't take the temperature of the room. I don't know what happened to my ex last night after 3 crazy texts. Jake Paul, listen, you're a punk. You have an invite on this show any week you want. I'll box you. I don't even care because you can't beat nobody. Mike Tyson can wipe the floor with you. I don't know what your deal was with him. We're going to quick hits after a quick break. We're going to take a break before quick hits because I'm heated. We're out. We'll be right back. And we'll be on
Sideline Sports live every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Kilton Clark is Larry Bird, I would say, and Paige Beckers is Magic Johnson.
It's kind of like an oxymoron, you know.
Yeah, moron is right.
Maybe when they listen to people like you, that's how they continue being the Browns.
He did have that type of talent for the pro level, but the scouts failed the team.
I disagree. The Panthers, I'm not saying they're making the playoffs, but they're going to be really hard to beat this year. Bryce Young,
so they're not winning the division. Hooked up with some chick, and then he told her he was a linebacker.
They did win the division.
We're back. John was right for once. Let's give him his applause.
Oh,
Thank
right,
you, John.
as always, but go on.
Great job. Now we can talk some sports, guys. I mean, listen, we are moving into the entertainment space. Sideline Sports will be Sideline Sports and Entertainment soon enough. You know, so that was a good foray into that. But
and I believe that was the most watched halftime show of all time as well.
I'm sure it was.
While the other one had 5 million viewers.
John, it was
compared to 125 million viewers. Okay,
John, I don't even count that, and I watched both purposely. I YouTubed it the next day because
Kid Rock,
because I had to see for myself before I said anything. And you notice I didn't bring it up because it wasn't even worth mentioning. You know, they had a guy who was past his prime that brought nothing to the table. But let's get into quick hits because you know. We got a lot to talk about today.
By the way, yeah. John, real quick, without mentioning any names or going too deep into it, the very guy that they worship didn't even watch the All-American halftime show himself. There's footage of him watching Bad Bunny, but hey, quick hits.
All right. Should Patriots quarterback Drake May have finished within a point of Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford for AP NFL MVP? John, start with you.
I don't even understand this one, man. First of all, Josh Allen was a million times better all year. It's not to take away from Drake May, but did we watch what Josh Allen did for the Bills, putting them on his back while injured week after week after week? Did we watch what Christian McCaffrey did all year long? Did we watch what Jonathan Taylor did? Did we watch what Jackson Smith and Jigba did? Like, those guys were not above Drake May. Like, come on, man. Justin Herbert was 5th in voting. He got an MVP vote above everybody else. He got 1 vote. Justin Herbert did. I have no idea how. It just goes to show you, like, when you look at that voting, Matt Stafford had 46 touchdowns and 4,700 yards, and he's neck and neck with Drake May. Like, come on, man. Like, we saw the bad schedule that the that the Patriots played all year. And then as soon as they played good defenses in the playoffs, what happened to Drake May? He was horrible the entire postseason. He's horrible in the Super Bowl. He's horrible in the conference championship. Horrible against the Texans. Horrible against the Chargers. Like, he was bad when he played real defenses. Instead of playing the Jets, instead of playing the Dolphins, instead of playing the Saints or Raiders or whoever, like any of those bad teams that he got the opportunity to play all year, like bad defenses, when he played real defenses, he was bad. He was really, really bad. And then they had the audacity to come out. I heard today, I know I'm going off topic a little bit, but they had the audacity today to come out and say Drake May was injured and he was playing injured in the Super Bowl. Miss me with that. They said Will Campbell got injured in the middle of the season today and he wasn't 100%. Come on, man. You always do this. LeBron James, I had to say it 3 times, always does that, always has an excuse when he loses in the playoffs. And these guys had a magic excuse, like, oh man, like Josh Allen. Oh, he got real hurt. We found out after they lost to the Broncos. Like, I hate when teams do that. So miss me with the Drake May stuff. He should have been in the top 5 for MVP. I don't think he was better than JSN. I don't think he was better than McCaffrey. Like, no, not even close.
James?
Well, I think Drake May had a great season, but the question is, should it have been this close in the MVP race? I think not. When you look at the numbers, Matthew Stafford was almost 50 touchdowns passing. That's insane to me. So he was always a favorite for me pretty much the whole season. I think the success of the Patriots and the fact that they were coming off 2 seasons where they were 4-13 and a lot of narratives was kind of driving it. But no, I don't believe that Drake May was really close to Matthew Stafford in overall performance. So I think that, the voters kind of did some weird stuff with their going with Drake May and everything. So I'm going to go with that for my take.
Jay?
Well, and I guess it'll be said on the air that between Kendrick Lamar's pop-out concert and Super Bowl 60, if you're a Drake, you get dragged in California. It's just what the hell you do. But should it have been that close? Hell no. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way, boy. As a matter of fact, bold take, he wasn't even second place to me. Not when JSN has 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns. Yeah, we're bringing back incorporating other players, in my opinion, because there's been a lot of quarterback glazing, and I get it that's the most important. But JSN went bananas this season. He did. How far do the Hawks make it without him? I know they got a damn good defense, but how far do they really make it without JSN? His number speaks for himself. To me, he was not only should it have been that close, to me, he wasn't even second place. I had Jackson Smith.
So, great point, Jay. I mean, listen, as far as quarterback play goes, there was Matthew Stafford and everybody else. No questions asked. Drake May had a nice season, but their defense, their running game were way more important than Drake May. I look at anybody he was throwing to and say, well, they had a great year because of Drake May. The Patriots did have a great year because of Drake May. I could have plugged in probably about 10 other quarterbacks in the league, and the Patriots would have still been where they were. Plus, like John said, they had the easiest schedule. I think had the Colts not fallen off at the end, Jonathan Taylor would have gotten some more votes, but they kind of fell off. And even, Daniel Jones, before he got hurt, that totally changed the landscape. So, but yeah, Drake May to me was not an MVP candidate. I didn't understand it, so I'm for sure with that. Well, what's the next one on quick hits here? Number 2, former Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak reports his new Raiders head coach immediately following Super Bowl 60. Can he turn the silver and black around? James?
Not immediately. They have to give him time because this team has a lot of problems. So they're most likely going to draft Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick. They drafted Genty last year. They got Bowers. There's some pieces to be excited about, but there's no offensive line. There's no real talent on the defensive side at all. Max Crosby wants out of there. So I don't see the Raiders being, a contending team next year or even the year after that. So if he does, it's going to have to be patience. He's definitely a smart coach, a good offensive mind. So I'm excited to see what he does, but I wouldn't get my hopes up if I was a Raiders fan.
Jay?
In line with what James is saying, yes, he can, but not immediately. But my reasoning for that is he's in one of the tougher divisions in football. They sent the Chargers and the Broncos to the postseason, and the Broncos had the number 1 seed. And then there's the Chiefs when Mahomes recovers, So even if he does, get everything on the right page and gets all of his pieces in play, you still got to see Harbaugh twice a year, Mahomes twice a year, and Sean Payton and Bo Nix twice a year. So he still got an uphill climb. I'm going to give him the first year to put the pieces together, and they get, some wins, and then everything's cool. But the second year is when I'm really going to start watching them.
John?
I think it depends on what they do in this draft. I think if they can find a way to do what the Bears, what the Bears went and did, and that was traded out of the number 1 pick, got a ton of draft capital. I know that sounds crazy because you miss out on Mendoza. I understand that. That's your QB, your franchise guy. But the Bears went and traded back, and the Panthers gave everything away for Bryce Young, and the Bears got a king's ransom. So I think if the Raiders do something like that, get a ton of picks, trade away Max Crosby, get a ton of picks from him, however much you can get out of him. I don't know what people are willing to give up, but if you can get rid of Crosby, get rid of that contract, get some picks, trade back, because even if you trade to the 5th or the 10th pick, JB, you could get a hell of a lot of capital. You're not a quarterback away from being a playoff contender, let alone Super Bowl contender, right? So if you trade back, get a ton of capital, build up the offensive line, which I think should be the first thing you do with Genty and Bowers, and then everything falls into place. I think you can go with a veteran QB because you're not winning this year anyway. So, and then like Jay said, you get some wins, build some momentum, and then in year 2, you use more of that draft capital because I project if you trade back, you'll get some for next year too. And then everything I think would start falling into place. So, but I don't think he can do it. I just don't. I think the Raiders are just cursed. I think they're forever, and at least in my lifetime, going to be bad.
So really simply, Kubiak had choices. Problem is his team went to the Super Bowl and won, so a lot of the choices got taken away. He's hot now, so his choice was take this job or go back to Seattle. Honestly, I'd have gone back to Seattle. This is going to be a dumpster fire for a few years. Yes, if he's a good coach, a good head coach, he'll be able to turn it around in a few years. But will he survive that cycle? You're hoping that you could draft right and you make the right calls on people. And how much say is he going to have in that draft? Is he going to have enough say to make the choices and to get the guys he wants? Or is he just going to be, oh, we got this guy. Good luck, So I don't know. I think I would have waited another year and hoped that I was still hot. But I get the reason for jumping. All right, number 3. Besides your team, name your favorite mascot in sports, pro, college, etc. I'm going to start with this. So last year, we all saw it. I got my picture with Swoop. This year, but I'm going to go Swoop. Swoop was cooler. Blitz was kind of boring. He may be getting a Super Bowl ring.
He's the Walmart Swoop.
But Swoop is a lot more fun. I mean, Blitz, bring up your game, man. Come on, we got a former Seahawk that's a co-host of this show, and your game is weak. Not acceptable. Jay?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Walmart swoop. No, but only because last week at Radio Row, it was like this dude was everywhere, and I even told him because I took a total of maybe 3-4 pictures with him in different locations. JB, you were with me with for one of them, and I even walked up to him and I told him, I said, "Dude, at this point, it's stalking, bro." And he kind of gave me that funny look that mascots always give you. And that, but no, I actually thought Swoop was a lot of fun, especially. And shout out to Pat Patriot as well to the shindig we had with Tony Dungy and the Build a Bear.
The basket
Basket
bug, yeah.
Yeah, the basket bash. Yeah, you know what I mean. I thought that was very well put together. I'm pretty sure Dave is gonna highlight on it on his show. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give some props to Blitz on this one.
John?
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones, but my favorite outside of my own is Gritty from the Philadelphia Flyers. There's nobody that's more entertaining than Gritty. If you haven't seen what Gritty does, you don't even got to go to a game. Just look up what he does with fans, to fans. I mean, he is absolutely hilarious, but then he's like kind of creepy too. And if I didn't choose Gritty because it was like a toss up for me, I would have went Philly Fanatic because Philly Fanatic is just so funny, and he throws his hips around and whatnot in people's faces, and like he's hilarious. So I would go Gritty, but Fanatic, I almost chose him.
James?
I don't really have one.
Like no college mascot that's hilarious, or NBA ones are great.
I guess I'll do the Panthers. Sir Purr is his name. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of silly to see a grown man in a Panthers costume beating like a big drum because the Panthers have the keep pounding thing. Like, it's just silly to me. So I'll go with that one.
So you don't like mascots at all? Or you just don't like that?
I mean,
he's a swoop guy.
They serve a purpose, but a lot of NFL mascots are just not it.
Well, I mean, look at the JB, the long history of the Phoenix Suns, the gorilla.
I love the San Diego Chicken. San Diego Chicken's classic.
Like sometimes I wish there was actual animals involved. Like
so here's the thing. We're talking about mascots. We're ending quick hits. I'm not taking a break because we're already 30 minutes almost into the show. This conversation was more exciting than Super Bowl 60. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry, you're wrong, because I watched the game. I flew home Sunday morning after not sleeping all Saturday night. Got home, did what I had to do, got ready for what I was hoping to be a good game. I was so bored, and I love football. John, look, what happened that besides Drake May missing every open receiver, what was the reason that New England just was not good?
So Seattle did a good job of attacking the offensive line. First of all, they did a great job of overwhelming Will Campbell, and that entire offensive line. They overwhelmed them time after time. They kept spamming that cornerback blitz. That's what they kept doing over and over. Cornerback blitz. Drake May could not read it. He could not change his protection. It didn't matter if they brought in an extra guy. Drake May was just so rattled.
Sorry, quick question for you though. So they were saying his injury was his non-throwing shoulder. So do you think that caused him to miss seeing the corner blitz on the other side, hit him from behind?
No, not at all. I think the first time, I think that was the first drive he got popped. I think it was the very first drive he got popped, and he got sacked by one of the corners, I believe it was, or maybe it was Hall, but I forget. Anyway, he looked rattled. Like that first drive, he looked okay, and then after he got popped from there on out, it looked like the lights were just too bright for him, and mentally, he just was shook. He looked like a second-year quarterback. Like it didn't look like somebody that, you know what I mean, that has ice in his veins playing in a game like that. Darnold didn't either. I mean, let's be honest, like neither quarterback both looked rattled. And Darnold even admitted that he missed a couple of opportunities to flip the protection on a couple of the blitzes he got called on. He admitted on the radio that he missed. He just didn't see. He did not flip the protection. He didn't see their blitzes coming. He didn't see what they were bringing on him very well, and he got lucky. The defense played historically great because they would have lost if the Patriots offense did anything. So
James, I was almost hoping in the post-game press conference this question was asked to Drake May. Were you seeing ghost? Not that Sam Darnold was very good, but it sure felt like Drake May was seeing ghost. What was your opinion of the game and your thoughts on breaking it down?
Well, when it comes to Drake May, it's not really just about, one game. Like, there's a big stage. He's a second-year player. If you look at Drake May's performances throughout this postseason, he really hasn't been very good. And I was actually reading a stat today. I forget who posted it, but Drake May has had one of the worst EPA in this postseason run of at least like 3 starts in the postseason. And there's some bad names on there. You have people like Rex Grossman on there when he was with the Bears and people like that. And it's just not company that you want to be a part of. So Drake May was clearly not ready. The Seattle defense got after them. And somebody that I actually want to call out as my sports suspect of the week is the left tackle, the rookie. He didn't want to have anything to do with the media. Will Campbell ghosted everybody after a terrible performance. You got to own up to it, man. Like, as a grown man, you're in the NFL now. People are going to be asking you questions, especially when you're performing like that on this stage. So I really don't respect it. Not a good performance by Drake May or really anybody on the Patriots offense. And Seattle, as most people expected, kind of had an easy path to the Super Bowl.
So, James, quick question before I go over to Jay. So, do you think that makes it worse that he ghosted the media, like the reaction to it? Or do you think if he would have just, stood in, took a couple of questions and, took his beating like a man and moved on?
You got to do that, man. Like, you got to face the music when things don't go your way. You can't just, come out and do all the hoorah stuff when you win. You got to be the same guy when you win and when you lose. You got to be consistent as a player, as a man, and do that. So there's been a lot of players that have done that in the past, like Cam Newton when he lost the Super Bowl, and ironically also in Santa Clara, just kind of like stormed off the set when they asked him about fumbling the ball. You got to face the music when it's time. So that's part of the game.
James, I believe when we covered virtually, we covered the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl when Mahomes got his ass kicked all night. And they blamed the offensive line, but he wasn't very good. The offensive line wasn't good. They got demolished by the Bucks. After the game, Mahomes stepped in there and he took accountability. He took it on the chin. He took it like a man when they got their ass kicked. He said, he basically said, I didn't play well enough. Like, it was on me. We're not going to make excuses. We lost. I played bad and, I have to do better and we have to do better. So that was an instance that stands out in my mind of a guy showing leadership in the biggest moment possible. And they lost. And he was like, yeah, that's on me. He didn't avoid it. And real leaders, they take that accountability and they put that on them.
You have to do that. That's part of the reason you're getting.
But not everybody does it. Not everybody.
No, I know that. I agree. But this, when you make the league, you have part of it's having to deal with the media. You're not always going to have your best game. You're not always going to win. It sucks to lose. Nobody here likes to lose. And it would be even worse on that stage to lose. But you still got to step up, take your questions, take your looks like a man, and move on. It's life. Jay, tell us what you saw out of Kenneth Walker and what you thought about Smith and Jigba getting hurt, coming back at the end, and being there with his team.
Well, first of all, with the Patriots making the Super Bowl, it was all because remember they weren't supposed to make the Super Bowl for another 10, 15 years because Brady and Belichick were gone. Well, they made it without Brady and Belichick, and then they walked on that field, and Pats Nation was quickly reminded that Brady and Belichick were gone. That's no disrespect toward Vrabel or Drake May. Shout out to them. But Kellen Walker was clearly the best player on that offense. Now, here's the thing. Because this was something that translated actually from Bill Belichick to right now, is the New England Patriots are very great at taking away your best option. With that being said, the Seattle Seahawks curb stomped the New England Patriots, and JSN was a non-factor. The very guy that I just got through praising just earlier in this telecast, but he was a non-factor. Like you said, he had gotten hurt. Well, we had said, because what was it, after the divisional round, Charbonnet had torn his ACL, and John, you and I were discussing that K9 was going to have to step up. Well, how do you like 27 carries for 135 yards, 2 receptions for 26 yards, Super Bowl most valuable player, and would have had even more than that with a touchdown if not for his offensive line screwing him over.
Yep.
But
he had a great game. No, he had a great game.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that earlier you guys said, well, Darnold really didn't look good neither. At one point, he was like 9 of 22 for $130. So, no, he did not look good.
He was missing open throws.
He was. Yeah. He was missing very open throws.
He was not good at all.
But his performance in the Super Bowl, I compare to Manning's in that same stadium. He didn't need to be great. He had a defense behind him. He had a running game. Darnold didn't need to put on this cape.
Yeah. To me, he was Trent Dilfer.
Exactly. Yeah. Darnold didn't need to put on this cape. Dude, ride that defense and that running game. Well, he won't be going into the sunset just yet. His career ain't over. But that's why I said that about Manning 10 years ago.
Did just enough to win.
Dude, just enough to win. Exactly. And you know what? I'll tell you like this. Darnold looked far from a superstar, but he didn't lose the game. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, that's all you can do if you want to win. Don't lose the game. Don't be the one out there to make the mistakes to give the other team a chance. Darnold took care of the football. He rode Kenneth Walker. Pause. Solid running game. Excellent performance by K9. The defense did their thing. They forced, 2 turnovers to 0?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it was a one-sided game from bell to bell. Pretty much the only good thing that was going for the New England Patriots was their defense, because it was about late third quarter, and it was only 12-0. So this was May's chance to get in the – yeah, go ahead.
And shout out to Christian Gonzalez, because he allowed 0 catches when he lined up against JSN. He allowed 0 catches.
I mean,
all night.
Listen,
versus JSN. That's amazing. The offensive player of the year, he held to 0 catches.
Put respect on New England's defense. They had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Every time Seattle drove, they stopped them. You can't, you got to help your defense out. I mean, Seattle was scoring points all year. Smith and Jigba went crazy. He's the offensive player of the year for a reason. And like John said, he had 0 catches. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what happened last week in San Fran. So all the great things that happened. And then we'll talk about next year's Super Bowl as well. Jay, take us out of here.
Sideline Sports live every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
It's not a great league, the American League. The National League is far and away better.
I know we have those 4 games in
our John, I'm going to stop you there. The Orioles haven't gotten to the World Series.
No, I'm just saying, if you're a fan of any team, Cam Newton's always.
Oh my gosh, you just say that name and I know something stupid's coming there.
8,000 points a game. What is Dragon Ball Z's in the WNBA now?
It's in a dog pile.
Stuff happens in the bottom of that pile. You don't even want to know about. You get spit on, you get poked, you get poked in the eye, in the ear. Yeah. Yes.
He's not a leader. He's a child. Go play on your burner account and go have fun. All right, we're back, guys. So let's talk about last week. I'm going to start with, why is there not a Blue Medical 10 on Radio Row? I got a brace on my ankle right now. I don't understand it. Somehow I messed up my ankle. There's no Blue Medical 10. I need Brian Dable to come to the Blue Medical 10 and bring me back out to Radio Row and get me out there doing interviews, and it didn't happen.
He needs to shoot you up. Somebody needs to shoot you up.
You failed me. But, great week as usual. San Francisco did a wonderful job. I always get a little worried when we go to these new cities for Super Bowls. I mean, combined, we have almost 25 of them. But, first time we've done it in San Francisco. So you always get a little concerned, different places, different people. But walking in there, it's like walking into an old family reunion. You see the same faces, and it's always good. It feels like you're going home again, like coming home from college break or something. Big shout out to the people out there that took good care of us. There were a lot of great people. The locals were phenomenal. If you've never been to San Francisco, definitely go there on vacation. It's a nice area. Napa's like an hour away. San Jose was cool. DA headquarters was there. Great food, great nightlife. I mean, it's not the party capital of the world, but we weren't there to party. We were there to do a job. But great place to visit. But Radio Row, I mean, Martha Stewart was our Radio Row. I'm still trying to figure out why she was there, but I did have a selfie with her because I said I'm never going to run into her again. Jay, what are the odds that I run into Martha again, besides Radio Row, if she happens to be there in the future? Give me odds.
Odds? Woo, man. You know what? I'm going to be generous and give you a 2,500 to 1 because
Wow.
I mean it. Well, and I'm pretty sure you got, because you guys were in LA covering it, and then you guys were out there in Arizona. Of course, we all were out there in Vegas and New Orleans, and in this year, the most random faces show up on Radio Row. The most random. But I will say this much: this is my 3rd year in a row catching a wrestler on Radio Row. And I caught more than several of them. John was with me. I caught Seth Rollins. I dapped him up. I caught AEW Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy. MJF shrugged me off, and it was hilarious. So here's the story. So those of you out there that do watch wrestling, MJF is the current AEW World Champion. And he's like this massive a-hole, right? So he's passing me up. And I stick out my fist for a fist bump. I'm like, hey, MJF, what's going on? He's like, I'm not touching you. And then he walks off, right? I'm like, and this other dude who saw the interaction, he's passing me up, and he's laughing, he's cracking up, and he's like, yo, I said, that dude was in character. He said, yes, he was in character. That was great. And then a few minutes later, he was passing me up again. And of course, he recognizes me because we interacted not even a few minutes before. I've got this, Under Armour hat that stands out. And he looks at me and he gives me like a nod. And it's as if, how as men, we can say a lot to each other without saying a word, just by like a head nod or a hand motion or something. And so when he nodded to me, it was almost as if he was saying, hey, brother, it's just business, right? But what's going on? You know what I mean? So, and I also met Big E as well. Radio Row is awesome. I passed up CM Punk. He didn't hear me yell out for him, but it's all good. I give him a pass. But yeah, the WWE World Champion was there. So it was phenomenal. You do, to JB's point, you see the most random faces, because I didn't see Martha Stewart of all people coming. But I'm also not surprised, because the Super Bowl can be the biggest spectacle of the year. I would say, we got the Winter Olympics on right now, but the Super Bowl is its own adventure. It's always fun. It's always hard work for us at Sideline Sports, but this is one of the few jobs where you have fun doing it. So you get exhausted, but man, you have a lot of fun. James, of course, you, John, and shout out Will Peralta. Y'all got great material going out there. They cover the Bad Bunny. You know what? Hey, go to one of them and let them talk about the experiences, man.
I was about to get into that. I mean, not only do we didn't have as much content this year, and that was done purposely. That was on John and myself. That wasn't the goal this week. Although we got plenty of content and it's going to be released soon. But not only do we do interviews, not only do we go into the spaces, talk to the players, go to press conferences, go to events, we have 2 of the best photographers of the world on our staff. We have John Shearer and Will Peralta. And I don't know if you've gone to Will's Instagram or John's Instagram and look at some of the work that they did. It's phenomenal. I mean, when you look at our work as a body, we have some of the best guests, some of the best commentary, and now we have some of the best photographs. I just don't know what's holding us back. Great work, John. Will, if you're watching, I appreciate what you do. Phenomenal work. James, tell us, your thoughts on Radio Row, what you saw, what you didn't see, why JB's the greatest of all time. Make sure you throw that in there.
Well, it was a very exciting time on Radio Row. I got the opportunity to help a friend of mine that needed a camera person. So I guess my favorite part was just, meeting other media organizations and seeing what they do. I know Sideline Sports were proud of what we've done, but, you can always learn from other people. So, I think we kind of get caught up in the celebrities and, the selfies and everything, which is exciting. But, you know, I like to actually meet other people that have been in this business a lot longer than me and have a lot of experience, and just pick their brains a little bit, because you have a lot of opportunities to learn how to make your media organization better when you do it that way. So that was really exciting for me.
That's cool. John?
Yeah, for me, I don't know, maybe like God is pushing me towards philanthropy. I'm not sure, because we did a lot of philanthropy this week. In addition to all the other cool stuff that we get to do and the great work we do. And I appreciate the shout out for the photography. I really do appreciate that. But just getting to do all the stuff, or Monday, we got to go to Troy Vincent, his event in Oakland at the elementary school. I believe it's for inner city youth, to help them out, because we know that inner city youth, a lot of times, there's a lot of things that they go through. So to kind of give them a day and support them at their elementary school while they're in school. And that was really cool. Just getting to see Takeo Spikes there, and Troy Vincent, obviously, and Work Done, who's an amazing person, gives back to so many people. Troy does, all these guys. So they do so much, and it was just an honor to be there, to get to support that and photograph that. And then we got to do the Basket of Hope, which was an honor as well. Shout out to Dave and Tony Dungy and everybody involved in that, giving baskets to families and children, the children that have illnesses, life-threatening illnesses. It's just so cool to see. And then we got to do the Ronald McDonald House right outside of the Stanford University. And shout out to them too, because they have 3 campuses that they have to maintain out there. There's a lot of money that they need for each campus. Out of all the Ronald McDonald houses, they need a lot of money to be able to support these families with the children that have life-threatening illnesses. And the families' lives are turned upside down. So we were honored to be able to go there and support that. And again, I got to photograph that as well, in addition to photographing the Basket of Hope. So, like all the other cool stuff, getting to photograph Bad Bunny and Charlie Puth and Coco Jones and Brandy Carlisle and all them, that's really cool. And the Radio Row and Media Night, I got to do a lot of that. But the philanthropy, like supporting the families that are in need, to me, that means more than anything. JB, you and I got to interview one of the athletes from the Special Olympics the other day, and that was really cool too, getting to speak to him. And so just to me, that's what stood out, is getting to support people that need help. I know we didn't really do much in terms of we're not giving money, we're not doing that, but we're there offering our support, showing up. We could be doing other things. We could be going to parties or photographing other stuff, during Super Bowl week. But we spent a ton of time going to support, the Troy Vincent, event, the Basket of Hope, the Ronald McDonald House. We spent a lot of time doing that stuff because we really care at Sideline Sports. We don't just do this for for our benefit, but we go out there and we want to, be positive, make a positive impact, kind of like we felt Bad Bunny did with his performance during the Super Bowl halftime show. We want to make a positive impact at Sideline, and that's what we're all about. Is giving back and being supportive, especially to those in need. Sorry, I ranted there, or I rambled a little bit, but there was a lot of great things that we had the opportunity and honor to cover, like those things, JB.
No, you're 100% right, John. Again, we are a media company. We're always going to be looking for content. But, there's content in so many different things. Being able to go to the event at Oakland and at the local school, we got a chance to interview the family and that had 2 children at the school. We got to talk to Troy about his foundation and what they do to give back to these communities. We got to go to the Ronald McDonald House for our second year and to see how they help families, when they need it the most. And the one by Stanford that runs 3 of them in Oakland, San Francisco, and the one by Stanford, they give not just a place to stay, they also have free food. Can you imagine when you're going through that, God forbid your children are sick or someone in your family's sick and you got to figure out what you're going to do for your next meal? They're taking care of that. I mean, the fact that these people do that, I'm just honored to be in the room with them. Ricky Waters was there, which was phenomenal. Marnie
and his wife, Kat. Yeah,
right. And Marnie, whose grandfather created the Ronald McDonald House, she makes sure she goes back as much as she can and gives back. You got to love that. And then, of course, we had Basket of Hope with which Dave was the chairperson for, with Tony Dungy, Lorenzo Neal, I believe, was there. There was a bunch of others, and that unbelievable to see. And they're doing it in all the NFL cities, giving baskets to children that have diseases that they may never. This is something huge for them. The fact that we were able to be there and support that, and that we're blessed to have done that. We could have, like John said, we could have easily just spent time on Radio Row, running around trying to take pictures, getting a couple interviews, but it's more than that. We've learned that we're fortunate enough to be put in that space. So there's other stories and other things we need to do. Thank you to the NFL for having us as usual. We're greatly honored that we're one of the few organizations that you do give credentials to for a full week. We appreciate that. Overall, great week. I'm excited for next year in LA. San Francisco, hopefully we'll get to see you again for a Super Bowl. Can we get Miami? I know we got LA, then Atlanta. We'll find out later this year where we're going.
For the love of John, give me Miami. Please, for the love of everything.
Listen, before I'm an old man, get me Miami. Anyway, let's talk about next year's Super Bowl before we wrap up. We got a few minutes left. So right now, the odds for next year's Super Bowl, Jay, you have the Seahawks at plus 750 as the favorite, followed by the Rams plus 800. I saw it earlier on the TV with the Rams were favored over the Seahawks. So different odds from different places. It does happen. Different books have different things, but they were 1 and 2 the way you had it. So no big deal. Any shock to what you're seeing here looking at these? Start with you, James.
Oh, yeah, I'm really shocked. I think that, the Seattle Seahawks cashed in on their opportunity, but they're going to be facing a much tougher schedule. They also have a lot of free agents that are coming up that could possibly go to other teams. So as of right now, it's way, way too early to say who's going to the Super Bowl. You still have free agency, you still have the draft, you still have all these things. But Seattle, to see them at the top of the list is really surprising to me.
John?
Yeah, I mean, they're losing Kubiak. Like, that's a giant loss for them. And like James said, they have a ton of free agents. They have a ton of cap space. But if you have to spend all your money on retaining your guys, which you're probably going to have to do, then you're not really gaining anything in free agency, because we know if you're the same team year to year, you're not winning the Super Bowl if you stay the same team as you were the year before. It doesn't matter how good you were. You always have to find a way to improve from the year before, because now you're a target. I get you had arguably the best record all year long, but now you're a target. Everybody has all off season to study you, to watch your every move, to take away everything, because they're going to look at the blueprint, that Super Bowl, what the Patriots did, and they're going to say, okay, if we can take away JSN, let's see what the Seahawks do. Like, let's see what their offense does. So, and they stayed healthy all year. That's a thing. Like, a lot of these teams were banged up all year. Seahawks stayed healthy basically all year long. And how often does that happen where you avoid the injury bug like all year long? I just can't see them. I don't know why the Ravens and Bills are third and fourth. They lost their coaches. Lamar Jackson's. It looked to me like he's lost a little bit of a step, as far as running the ball. It looks like he lost a little bit of a step. Derrick Henry's another year older. They have a lot of issues on the offensive line. They're probably going to lose their center. There's just so many question marks with the Ravens. Still don't have a number one receiver. And the Bills, again, they lost their head coach. And they have a lot of question marks. Josh Allen's taken a lot of beatings in his career. There's just so many good up-and-coming teams. The Broncos I would put above the Ravens and Bills. If Bo Nix is healthy, he would have been in the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So, I would put them above the Ravens and Bills. Not the Rams, but, I can't see the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl again. It's just, it's in this day and age, too hard.
Jay?
Yeah, to John's point, it's definitely hard to go back. But one thing that they do have going for them is Darnold became the second quarterback in history to win back-to-back 14-win seasons. I'm a believer that things happen in threes, so it would not shock me if they did go back. Now, me personally, I would have put the Rams above them. I know the question is Stafford, because Derrick Henry's gonna be a year older. Everybody gets a year older. Stafford's gonna be 38. So how much more out of him? But now Stafford also has had a career relatively healthy as well. So that works out a lot for him. Again, I would have, especially with Puka Nacua, who, by the way, we caught at a random in and out. But anyway, but yeah, I actually will put the Rams slightly above the Seahawks. They lost Clint Kubiak. Who knows who they're going to lose to free agency? If they get everybody back, that's great. Who knows how the draft is going to go? But I've got them. I've got the Rams slightly above them, if not neck and neck. Ravens, Bills. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me throw in a point to what you just said, because I want to throw. And don't overlook how much losing an offensive coordinator hurts a team. Because the Lions offense took a giant step back this year without Ben Johnson. The Eagles offense did not look anywhere close to the same with Patullo from Kellen Moore. So don't overlook that. Go on, Jay.
No. Losing a coordinator definitely can be detrimental to the team. And now the question is who they're going to get to replace them. But now, as far as the Ravens and the Bills, I probably would put the Bills above the Ravens. I'm not terribly mad at the first four. I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, the Bills still have Josh Allen and the Ravens still have Lamar Jackson. As long as they're on the center, you've got a chance to win. The question is what's going to happen when Mahomes is fully healthy next year? What was the biggest criticism with Josh Allen? There was no Mahomes in front of you. There was no Joe Burrow. There was no Lamar Jackson, and then he couldn't get it done, right? Well, now the cycle starts all over again because 15 is going to come back healthy. So now we're going to see just how the Bills do and how the Ravens do. But as far as the top two, I'm not mad at it. Again, I would have the Rams slightly above the Seahawks, but hey, I'm not mad at the first four.
So, all right, that's the worst list, and you're just shooting darts right now to pick a team because it don't make any sense. We don't know what's going to happen in the offseason. But right now, as the teams stand, starting a new season 0-0, nobody has any wins, nobody has any losses. You're forgetting about the team that won the Super Bowl the year before, the Philadelphia Eagles. They've won it already. The Ravens and the Bills can't even get there. So, I would put the Eagles in front of them. It pains me. I'm a Giants fan, but, they got to be ahead of the Ravens and Bills because they at least know how to get there. San Francisco, if they stay healthy, could possibly be one of those top four teams. It is ridiculously hard to repeat in the NFL. If Seattle could do it, great for them. I don't know if Sam Darnold's that guy. Yeah, he had 2 14-win seasons. He figured something out, but is he going to do it again? Maybe. But, can the Rams still do what they're doing? That division's ridiculous. Maybe they're all going to knock each other out, and maybe the Eagles just walk right in. In the AFC, Mahomes. Who does he have? He has nobody with him. John, you want to play with?
He's still Mahomes, JB.
He's gonna. If they get some receivers, maybe. A couple of decent guys. I don't mean stars because you need money to get stars. But if they give him some help, maybe. But I don't know. I can't hate on the top 4, but I think the Eagles should have been in there. I think people are really just down on the way that they finished the year, but they're still the Eagles, guys.
And the Lions
They've
still
they're
exist.
still-
The Lions still
Yes,
exist.
the
And
Lions
Bears,
are still there.
The Bears aren't going anywhere either.
Well, the Bears are going to have the first place
No,
schedule.
but they're
so-
not going anywhere. Clearly, they have
I think
something.
they will be.
But they have a coach.
They have something.
They have a coach, so they're going to be tough, but I don't think they're going to be as good as this year. But I think that they're going to be in the mix for their division.
Right. They're
But-
not going away.
Yeah. But yeah, in all honesty, right now, if you ask me point blank, who's my favorite in the NFC? Eagles.
And the Super
Best
Bowl
overall-
logo. Super Bowl logo has Bears Dolphins, so we already know
There you
Bears
go.
Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl next
And we
year.
all know if that happens, John, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
Or
We
my other
never-
theory is Commanders Dolphins. That
Oh,
was
that
my
would be
other
even
theory.
worse.
Commanders
We don't-
Dolphins.
All right, I'm gonna have to call it sick that week if that happens because I don't want to cover anything Commanders. But guys, we've got over our time. I want to thank everybody for listening to me rant about American, un-American, because that crap's got to stop. It's so stupid. I could go on for another hour just complaining and bitching and moaning about it because it just irritates me. Uneducated people saying uneducated things. Take 10 minutes, book a flight somewhere, take a vacation to a land that doesn't speak English, that's outside of the 50 states, and get a little culture. And then maybe you won't hate people so much. But anyway, that's all the time we have. We will see you next week. A lot of stuff to cover. Football's pretty much over, but we always talk football. But you know what? Before we go, congratulations, Rick Pitino, third winningest coach in college basketball history. St. John's beat UConn Friday night while I was stuck in San Francisco. UConn, you suck. All right. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you next week.
And we're
Ho,
out.
ho, ho. Hawks win. Go Hawks. See you next week.